On the streets, in your feed, in your closet, luxury is everywhere. But behind the glitter is a game few truly understand. This is Connection Station, and today we're taking you inside the empire that conquered your wallet, your wardrobe, and maybe your self-worth. Welcome to the fashion empire. How luxury brands took over the world. $10,000 handbags, $2,000 heels, a $900 paperclip, sold out. And somehow, millions are still lining up for more. But how did we get here? How did brands convince us that status comes stitched in gold? That a logo on your shoes means you're somebody? It didn't happen by accident. Luxury fashion mastered the art of desire, mixing scarcity, storytelling, and just the right dose of insecurity. They don't sell clothes, they sell belongings. And we buy it, one overpriced stiletto at a time. Chanel doesn't follow trends, it creates culture. Gucci doesn't just design, it drops hype like mixtapes. And Louis Vuitton, it doesn't discount, it dominates. But in a world flooded with fast fashion, luxury had to evolve. Today, AI designs collections, influencers are walking billboards, and even your avatar can wear Prada. And if you think it's just for the elite, think again. Luxury has learned to target the everyday shopper. Through your favorite creator, your favorite song, and the shoe ad you almost clicked. This isn't just fashion. This is global control sold in seasonal colors. So buckle up. Because on Connection Station, we're going deeper than the runway, into the psychology, the tech, and the trillion-dollar illusion that dresses the world in desire. Chanel, Gucci, Louis Vuitton. 3 names, one empire. A dynasty built not just on fashion, but on culture, psychology, and power. Step inside a boutique, and it feels like sacred ground. But their story? It began in war-torn Europe. With tailors, trunk makers, and the revolutionary idea that fashion could define a person even before they spoke. Coco Chanel redefined womanhood, turning corsets into freedom. Her designs weren't stitched from silk. They were sewn from rebellion. Gucci, once a saddle shop, rode into global stardom through scandal, reinvention, and shock value. And Louis Vuitton? It turned luggage into a legacy carried by royalty, rappers, and runway rebels alike. But these brands are more than old money. They're new gods, worshipped across TikTok, SoundCloud, and Super Bowl stages. You don't just see them on runways, you hear them in lyrics. You see them in memes. You scroll past them every day and stop. Louis Vuitton collaborated with Supreme and caused stampedes. Gucci made sneakers look like relics from a thrift store and sold them for $800. Chanel refuses to sell online, making people want it more. The trick isn't just quality, it's mythology. These brands curate desire. They weaponize exclusivity. They understand that in a world craving validation, a logo is louder than 1,000 words. When Beyoncé steps out in custom Louis, when Zendaya walks the steps of the Met in head-to-toe Valentino, when a 16-year-old buys their first Gucci belt, they're not just buying fabric. They're buying a membership to a global club. They're entering the digital world, selling outfits you'll never touch, to avatars you've never met, for real-world money. Because the power of these houses isn't in their past. It's in their ability to adapt and still stay untouchable. Chanel, Gucci, Louis Vuitton. They don't just make fashion, they make fantasy. And in a culture obsessed with image, they've already won. What if I told you that $10,000 handbag you're drooling over? It costs less than $500 to make, and yet you still want it. You're still dreaming about it. You're still scrolling through resale apps hoping for a deal. Why? Because luxury isn't about leather, it's about psychology. It's not stitched in thread, it's stitched in status, perception, and something far more powerful: desire. We like to believe that luxury means better quality. But the truth is, what you're paying for is how it makes you feel. It's validation wrapped in velvet. It's insecurity cured with a logo. These brands have mastered a trick most industries can only dream of. They've turned scarcity into seduction. They show you an ad once and live in your head forever. A bottle of perfume becomes an experience. A shoe becomes a personality. A handbag becomes a flex that says, "I've made it." Think about it. You'll argue over a $70 dinner bill, but you'll swipe your card for a $1,200 handbag without blinking. Because one buys you calories, the other buys you clout. And it's no accident. Luxury branding is engineered like a psychological experiment. Scarcity, status, FOMO, exclusivity. They don't just want your money, they want your loyalty. These brands burn unsold stock to protect prestige. They create wait lists for shoes already in stock. They sell you a story and let you do the marketing. Because in the end, we're not buying things. We're buying feelings. We're buying fantasy. We're buying permission to belong. That $10,000 handbag, it may be made of leather, but the price tag, that's made of manipulation. Imagine walking into a store and being told you can't buy that, not because you can't afford it, but because you are not allowed to. Welcome to the next level of luxury manipulation, where the best-selling brand in the world makes more money by not selling you anything at all. Louis Vuitton isn't just a label, it's a lesson in engineered desire. Want the latest bag? Get in line. Not a checkout line, a wait list. Months, sometimes years long. By the time you get the call, you're not just excited, you're obsessed. And here's the part they don't tell you. LV destroys unsold bags. They literally burn their own inventory. Not to save money, but to protect exclusivity. If everyone can have it, no one wants it. And if you resell it, you might get banned. Yes, blacklisted. Forever. Because Louis Vuitton doesn't just control the product, they control the people who buy it. The truth is, they're not just selling bags, they're selling the idea that you are not enough until they say you are. It's not about the leather, the stitching, or the craftsmanship. It's about the chase, the desire to feel chosen. And you don't even notice it happening. Because while you're refreshing your browser, while you're dreaming of that monogrammed canvas, Louis Vuitton is doing exactly what they want. Keeping you waiting, keeping you wanting, and making you believe that one day you might finally be worthy.
I hope you are enjoying the video so far. If you are loving what you are watching, do not forget to show some support by hitting that like button. It really helps us out. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to Connection Station for more awesome content just like this. We are all about creating connections, and we do not want you to miss any of the fun. We appreciate all the support, and we are so glad to have you as part of our journey. Now, let us jump right back into the video.
In a world of hype drops, TikTok takeovers, and influencer armies, there's one brand that does none of it and still rules them all. Chanel. It doesn't follow trends. It doesn't beg for attention. It doesn't even sell online. And somehow, everyone still wants it. While other brands flood your feed, Chanel remains silent and untouchable. Because true luxury doesn't scream. It whispers. With power, Coco Chanel created more than fashion. She crafted an identity: the little black dress, the tweed suit, the quilted leather bag. Each one became a global symbol, not because it was advertised, but because it was imitated. Chanel doesn't chase influencers. It is the influence. You'll never find it on sale. There are no promo codes, no overnight shipping. Because Chanel doesn't care about accessibility, it thrives on distance. It's not fast, it's forever. The kind of brand you don't just buy into, you grow into. And that's the magic. The less available it is, the more we crave it. The fewer people wearing it, the more valuable it becomes. Chanel knows exactly what it's doing. By saying less, it becomes more. By showing restraint, it builds legend. In a digital world addicted to speed, Chanel remains timeless, rooted in silence, and yet louder than any logo on earth. Fast fashion was supposed to end haute couture. Why wait 6 months for a runway piece when you can buy the knockoff next week for $29? The industry panicked. Luxury was being outpaced, outpriced, outtrended. So, it fought back, not with tradition but with savagery. Balenciaga dropped sneakers that looked like they'd survived a war and priced them at $1,800. Gucci turned memes into merch. They didn't run from the chaos, they owned it. High fashion flipped the script. It got weirder, uglier, louder. It stopped chasing beauty and started chasing virality because suddenly ugly was the new exclusive. Confusing? Yes. Effective? Absolutely. Haute couture wasn't dying, it was mutating. While fast fashion copied looks, luxury copied attention. It dropped limited runs, teased collections like mixtapes, created buzz with outrage. Remember the Gucci fake bag? It literally said fake on it and people couldn't buy it fast enough. While fast fashion drowned in excess, luxury leaned into scarcity, irony, and shock value. They stopped designing just clothes. They designed moments. And for every kid who buys a $20 dupe, there's someone who needs to say, I got the real one. Fast fashion gave the masses what they wanted, but haute couture reminded them what it feels like to want what you can't have. This war isn't about fabric anymore. It's about attention, identity, and who controls the narrative when fashion goes viral. Forget Paris, forget Milan, the future of fashion. It's being written in Shanghai, Seoul, and Tokyo. A teenager in China is now driving the trends more than a French atelier ever could. Asia isn't the next luxury market, it's the main one. Over 30% of global luxury sales now come from young Chinese shoppers. Not oil tycoons or old money socialites, but tech-savvy Gen Z consumers who live stream their unboxings, buy through WeChat, and treat luxury brands like lifestyle essentials. This generation doesn't wait for Paris Fashion Week. They decide what's hot on their own time. They want exclusivity, but they also want it fast. They'll buy a limited edition Louis Vuitton drop one day and flex a Balenciaga filter in the metaverse the next. And the brands? They're adapting fast. Gucci is hosting digital pop-ups in Asia before Europe. Chanel is staging private shopping parties in Hong Kong. Louis Vuitton is collaborating with K-pop idols over Hollywood stars. This isn't just about market size, it's about cultural gravity. In Asia, luxury is not a once-in-a-while indulgence. It's a statement, a social ID, a flex that says, I don't just follow the trend, I am the trend. So the next time you think luxury flows from the runways of Paris, remember, it's a teenager in Chengdu with 200,000 followers, a Dior saddlebag, and a faster Wi-Fi connection who's deciding what the world wears next. The most powerful logo in fashion? Not a crown, not a lion, just two interlocked G's, because Gucci didn't just rebrand, it went viral. Once a symbol of old money elegance, Gucci pulled off a transformation that even Silicon Valley would envy. From polished pearls to platform Crocs, from red carpet royalty to TikTok's edgiest creators. Gucci became the most talked about brand on earth. How? Data, drama, and DMs. They listened. To memes, to resale prices, to viral sound trends. Then they turned internet chaos into Cooter, that fake Gucci hoodie. They remixed it into a real collaboration. That skate kid and knockoff Gucci loafers. He got a campaign deal. The North Face collab sold out. The Adidas drop crashed sites. Gucci didn't fight the internet, it fed it. They slid into the DMs of influencers before it was cool. They cast drag queens, gamers, and Gen Zs in campaigns before it was mainstream. They weren't just in Fashion Week, they were in your feed. In a world of curated exclusivity, Gucci leaned into chaos, and in doing so, they became everywhere. Now, when you see that logo on a belt, a hoodie, a digital filter, you're not just looking at a brand. You're seeing one of the most powerful flexes of modern marketing. Because Gucci didn't just change its clothes, it changed the conversation. Think you chose that dream designer bag? That signature belt? That pair of red bottom heels? You didn't. It was chosen for you years ago. Since the moment you opened your first magazine, clicked your first ad, or saw a celebrity in a designer dress, your brain's been quietly learning one thing. This is what success looks like. That Gucci logo, burned into your subconscious during a rap video you saw at 13. That Louis Vuitton print, featured in the romantic comedy you watched with your mom. In the airport billboard, on your favorite influencer's arm, over and over again. You think it's your taste, but it's decades of storytelling, of neural conditioning, of tiny dopamine spikes every time that logo flashes across your screen. And now, you're dreaming of a $5,000 item you've never even touched, because your brain believes it equals success, beauty, status, even love. But here's the kicker, luxury brands aren't guessing anymore. They're using AI to track what you feel, when you feel it, and why. They know your dream item before you do. And that's not marketing. That's mind shaping. So the next time you say, I've always wanted this, ask yourself, was it you or was it the algorithm? That outfit you're wearing, it didn't trend, it was decided months ago. In a boardroom you'll never see. Because luxury brands don't follow fashion trends, they manufacture them. Behind closed doors in Paris, Milan, and New York, executives, stylists, and data scientists gather around glass tables. Not to observe what's popular, but to decide what will be. They predict your obsession before you even feel it. They build mood boards based on market gaps, not creativity. They choose silhouettes, colors, and accessories based on algorithms, not accidents. And then they push it down the pipeline. Runway, red carpet, influencers, TikTok, retail. What starts as a $10,000 coat on a model in Milan becomes a $50 version at H&M. And suddenly everyone's wearing the latest thing. You thought it caught on. It was engineered to. That's not trend setting, that's trend design. And by the time you think, this look is so me, the boardrooms have already moved on. Planning your next phase, your next urge, your next swipe up. Fashion isn't spontaneous, it's strategic. It's not just what we wear, it's how we're guided to wear it. Because in this empire of luxury, style isn't discovered, it's delivered.
Answer this question in the comments.
What psychological trick do luxury brands often use to increase desirability? A. Offering big discounts regularly. B. Making products available everywhere. C. Creating artificial scarcity and exclusivity. D. Asking consumers for design suggestions. We're giving away an exclusive Labubu doll. Here's how to win it. Answer the question in the comments below. Spill your stylish thoughts. We're picking one fabulous winner straight from the comments. And hey, if you're loving the vibe, like this video, share it with your fashion tribe, and subscribe so you don't miss the magic.